Okay, Mr. Murphy.
All right. All right. Good evening. Welcome to the Crawford Long Middle School Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you or publicly uh, uh, noticed. And also, I believe, is placed in the chat as well. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when you speak. I'm pleased to call this meeting of the Crawford Long Middle School Go Team to order at 5:50 p.m. on January 9th, 2025. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
Please answer present when I call your name. Natasha Hall.
Present.
Mr. Murphy.
Present.
Chandra Prover is present. Dr. White. Dr. White.
She's not here.
Yeah.
Oh, she's on.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, all her stuff is off.
Okay, Dr. White, your microphone is off. I'm gonna go ahead to Mrs. Sheffield.
Dr.
White is
present.
Okay.
Dr. White is present.
Thank you. All members have been made present.
Great. With that being said, the team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Is there a quorum present?
Yes, there's a quorum present.
Great. All right. Next, we will move on to the approval of the agenda. So if you can post the agenda, Madam Secretary. Our first order of business, while she's pulling up the agenda, is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you, and copies are here. Of course, she's going to post it online. Are there any changes to the agenda that need to be noted? Public safety alert. All right, and she has posted the agenda in the chat. And you can just share your screen, Ms. Kruger. Is it allowing you to post, Ms. Kruger? I think Principal.
I don't have rights to share, but I did post the agenda in the chat.
Okay, well, we'll just view it like that. Everybody, if you just look at the agenda in the chat, is there anything you think needs to be changed, or if it's okay, then we will move on.
And Ms. Kruger should be able to share.
Okay, you can share it now, Ms. Kruger.
I see it.
Yep. Does anyone need, or are there any updates that need to be made? Has everyone viewed it? All right. At this time, will someone make a motion from the floor to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Somebody second it.
I second the motion that we approve the agenda.
Great. At this time, all in favor say aye. So the secretary can record your vote. Aye. All opposed say nay. Any abstentions, please say abstain. The secretary will note who made the motion and who seconded and how each member voted. Now that our agenda has, that motion has been carried out, we will move on to the approval of the previous minutes from November. The secretary, if you can post those so that we can just read them ourselves or view them ourselves, and then we'll make a motion to approve them. Please.
You want me to display it, or I put it in the chat? You want me to share my screen again?
You can share your screen.
Okay.
Just share your screen and move down slowly so we can just view it, and then that'll be it. Um, keep moving.
Sorry.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any corrections to the previous minutes from the floor? Still going. Okay. All right.
No corrections.
Okay, if there are no further corrections, may I have a motion to approve the
I
previous?
motion that we approve the previous meeting's minutes.
Okay, can I have a second?
I second.
What? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Please say abstain. Okay, the secretary will make a note of all those who voted in this motion. All right, now moving on, we will move on to our discussion items. And our discussion items are the fall to winter map data that will be presented by our principal Mccall.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I will actually be on 2 different screens, so please bear with me. At this time, I'm going to proceed with sharing the presentation that we will be looking at tonight. Are you all able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Again, our agenda for today will move as follows. We'll review the fall to winter map data. Then we'll review our strategic plan and priorities. And then we will rank our strategic priorities to prepare us for budgeting development. We're currently at number 5. Go team will take action or vote on the school strategic plan and vote on the ranked strategic plan priorities for SY or school year 25-26 budget decision. Our data discussion. Now, in front of you, you see the map results from our fall map. This map was taken at the end of August, and it actually was taken prior to any teaching being done. If we look at the areas, and it's also pretty much in alignment with what we saw on our Georgia milestones, with the exception of our 6th grade scholars who were transitioning 5th graders. But when we took this assessment in mathematics, 45% of our scholars in 6th grade were at the beginning level, 39% were at the developing level, 14% were at the proficient level. Now looking at 6th grade reading, and again, this was the fall. 48% were at the beginning level, 28% at the developing level, 20% at the at the distinct proficient level, and we had 4% at the distinguished level. Now 7th grade math for the fall map. 59% of the scholars were at the beginning level, 33% were at the developing level, and 8% were at the proficient level. Moving on to our reading fall map scores. In reading 7th grade in the fall, 44% of the scholars were at the beginning level, 45% at the developing level, and 11% at the proficient level. And for 8th grade math at the fall map, 65% of the scholars were at the beginning level, 32% were at the developing level, and 3% were at the proficient level. And 8th grade reading, 53% were at the beginning level, 36% were at the developing level, and 11% were at the proficient level, and we had 1% at the distinguished level. Now moving on, we had 0% at the distinguished level. And this is our fall map results. Now the next set of data you will see is our winter map assessment, which we took prior to the winter break. Now, when you look at the winter map assessments, of course, it gave us instruction, but also learning losses factor in. Now, we will look at this for math, our 6th grade scholars. 54% were at the beginning level, 36% were at the developing level, and 10% were at the proficient level. 6th grade reading, 54% was at the beginning level, 27% developing, 17% proficient, and 1% distinguished. 7th grade math, 65% at the beginning level, 26% at the developing level, 7% at the proficient level, and 1% at the distinguished level. 7th grade reading, 50% of our scholars were at the beginning level, 35% at the developing level, 14% at proficient level, and 1% at the distinguished level. And now 8th grade. 8th grade mathematics, 61% of our scholars were at the beginning level, 33% at the developing level, and 6% at the proficient level. And last, 8th grade reading. 51% of the scholars were at the beginning level, 36% at the developing level, 12% at the proficient level, and 0 at the distinguished level. Now that we've looked at both our fall and winter map, I'm transitioning now to our subgroups. Now, our subgroups for Long Middle School include special education or students with disabilities, economically disadvantaged because we are 100% ED, and also ELL. Now, looking at our winter map, here is our students with disabilities performance levels based off of grade level and content. 6th grade math, 93% beginning, 7% developing. 6th grade reading, 82% beginning, 14% developing, and 4% proficient. 7th grade math, 94% beginning, 3% developing, and 3% proficient. 7th grade reading, 72% beginning, 17% developing, and 11% proficient. 8th grade math, 91% beginning, 4%, I'm sorry, I do apologize, 6% developing, and 3% proficient. 8th grade reading, 71% beginning, 23% developing, and 6% proficient. And that's our students with disabilities. Our ELL scholars, for our English language learners, for our winter map, again, by content and by grade level. 6th grade math, we had 78% beginning, 17% developing, and 6% proficient. 6th grade reading, 94% beginning, 6% developing. 7th grade math, 81% beginning, 19% developing. 7th grade reading, 69% beginning, 25% developing, and 6% proficient. 8th grade math, 74% beginning, 16% developing, 11% proficient. 8th grade reading, 58% beginning, 32% developing, and 11% proficient. And again, this is our data for our ELL student, our ELL subgroup. Now that we've looked at this information, our Go Team discussion protocol includes the following questions. What do we notice? Are there any wonderings? Based on your school's trend data from MAP assessments and end-of-year test assessments, which student groups and subgroups and grade levels showed the most significant gaps or unexpected trends? Based on our school's trend data from MAP assessments, milestones, and other indicators, are there specific trends that require more focused attention? What additional questions do you have? At this time, I'm going to stop sharing so we can proceed with our discussion using this protocol. So again, at this time, I will stop sharing. Again, what do you notice? Are there any wonderings?
I did notice that 8th grade special education and math had a huge gap with that 91%. But it seems like the ELL scholars are doing fairly well, better, a lot better. But, you know.
Now let me jump in with that because especially with our subgroups, we have seen some gains. We've also, usually when it comes to MAP testing between the fall and the winter, there are expected decreases as far as proficiency levels. So usually there is a look at for the students to digress during that time, and usually between that winter and spring, we do see a progression. But when we're looking at this, are there any wonderings as far as next steps, things of that nature? We also need to discuss that, or if there are no wonderings, just let me know. Okay, I am going to say the leadership team have come up with a plan based off the data that we have actually retrieved from the MAP assessment that was taken in the winter. This plan is going to start once we come back from the Martin Luther King break. We've also met with the teachers, and the teachers have been able to utilize a data protocol to identify those bubble students that they will also move in their classroom. And we've also looked at not only focusing on content areas, but really drilling down by domain to determine the next steps. Also, we're going to be having some meetings to discuss supports that we could provide for our scholars, because we have really trickled down and triangulated the data, and we've identified those student groups and also those content areas where additional supports are needed. And there are some intervention blocks that we will incorporate to make sure that students not only receive that individualized support, but at the same time, teachers can show their levels of expertise by focusing on those domains where their students have seen the highest growth or mastery. Are there any other questions regarding this data? Okay, so I'm going to continue to share my screen at this time. Strategic plan updates. In front of you, you will see the strategic plan for Long Middle School alongside our SMART goals. And our SMART goals, we've gone over them prior. For ELA, our goal is to increase level of proficiency from 17.3% to 20.3%. In mathematics, our goal, and I do apologize, the wrong information is right there. Our goal is to move from mathematics levels of proficiency from 10.8% to 13.8%. Regarding our ADA, our goal is to see an increase from 88.8 to 91.8. And our last goal is to provide at least 3 opportunities for family engagement and student goal setting to enhance academic and behavior ownership during this school year. Now, if we look at our strategic priorities, unfortunately, there's some misnumbering on this document, but there are actually 7 priorities that we have identified previously as priorities that we would like to focus on for the school year. And they are as follows: improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, science, social studies content knowledge, implement the STEM program model, prepare all students for college, career, and life, implement goal setting, student ownership, and growth mindset opportunities for all students, build teacher and leader capacity, recruit, develop, and retain highly talented faculty and staff, utilize systems and resources that identify and address root concerns to promote social and academic growth, and last, inform and engage school families, partners, and community members. Those have been the identified strategic priorities for Long Middle School. Now, there must be action that we take at this time. We need to vote on our updated strategic plan. After the motion and a second, the GO team may have additional discussions. Once the discussion is concluded, the GO team will vote. Prepare for the budget development. In preparation for the 25-26 budget development, the GO team needs to rank its strategic plan priorities. Use the next slide to capture the priority ranking. Now, this is what we're going to do. A link has been placed in the chat. I'm going to stop share. A link has been placed in the chat. If you logged out and logged back in, or if you are not on, I'm going to reshare this link. This link is actually the strategic priorities that have been placed on the slide and were discussed prior to. We're going to take about 3 minutes to individually rank our strategic priorities. Then, based off of the rankings of the entire GO team, we will then list those priorities. And of course, I'm going to share out once all individuals have the opportunity to rank. We will then list those priorities and those rankings on our strategic priority sheet. So at this time, if you are in the chat, if you click on the link provided, you should be able to go ahead and vote on your rankings for the strategic priorities. Are you all able to see the document? Give me a thumbs up or a reaction so I can see if you're able to see the document.
The document, you're showing us the actual voting results, or?
No, you should just have access to the actual document to vote.
Okay, yes, we have access to that. That's in the chat.
Okay, so if you can go ahead, and this time, the time is now 6:14. At 6:17, voting will stop and I will shut off the ranking. So this time, if you can go ahead and rank the priorities. 1 is the most important, and I'm sorry, it says 9, but 7 is the least important. So again, the most important priority will get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And 7 would be the least
Oh, I'm glad you told me
Hold
that.
on
I
one
did
minute.
that. I did that. Oh, I mean,
Yes, thank you, because
If you see
you're gonna have
the
two in there for me.
directions are at the top. So that's fine. So if you have two, I'll just delete the one. And again, I will share the screen. We have 2 more minutes. And make sure you please hit submit once you have finished your document. About 30 more seconds. Has everyone completed voting? Please give me a thumbs up or a reaction, and then I will go to the forms screen to share the rankings. Okay, thank you. Okay, I have 7 responses. At this time, and Ms. Kruger, once we go in, can you please make sure you're getting the rankings so we can go ahead and put it in from our most important to our least important. Well, I'm not going to say least important, from highest to lowest. At this time, I'm going to share my screen. Are y'all able to see the screen? So now, our first priority was improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science. .9% stated this was a top priority. 14.3 said this was a second top priority. We did not have any individuals say this should be 3 or 4. 2 people said this should be listed at number 5 at 28.6, and no one for it being the 6th priority, and 14.3% stated it should be the 7th. Now, if we look at the next question, priority number 1, and again, we're looking at the percentages. So right now, and you all let me know. And if we look at number 1, it seems as improving student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science, that based off the percentage would be our first priority. Because that one had 42.9%, and there was no other ranking of number 1 that had that percentage or higher. The next ranking or the next focus, recruit, develop, and retain highly talented faculty and staff, that was next at 28% as a number 1 ranking. And also inform and engage families, partners, and community members, that also was one at 28%. So it looks like our first priority is going to be improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science. Now let's look at our next priority. Our next priority is to implement STEM model. Implement the STEM program model. 14.3% stated that should be our first priority. 14.3% stated it should be our second priority. There was no one who considered that to be a third or fourth priority. 14.3% considered that should be a fifth priority. 42.9% stated that should be a sixth priority, and 14.3% stated that it should be the last priority. So we're going to continue to look, because right now, implementing STEM priorities, right now, it looks like most of us said that should be priority number 6. And you all stop me if you have any questions. But I want to make sure we're looking at these rankings correctly. So right now, it seems as if our top priority is to improve student mastery, whereas based off of this, STEM program modeling will be our 6th priority. If we look at the next question, prepare all students for college, career, and life. This one was more evenly dispersed, with the exception of looking at our second priority. No one said it should be second, but the highest ranking for this one was 28.6%. And looking at it at priority number 6. So if we go back to the one before that, the ranking there was 42.9%. So we're going to revisit number 6 based off of the percentage rankings. Let's go down to implementing goal setting. Implementing goal setting, right now, it looks like that we're between the 3rd priority and the 6th priority. So we're going to have to revisit that. And the ranking seems to be so close. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop sharing, and we're just going to look at the priorities that we had previously. And based off of that, we're going to discuss, because the percentages are so close, we're going to have a quick discussion stating if we should rearrange any of the priorities as we have them, or are there any needs to rearrange them. So I'm going to share the screen again so we can have a brief discussion regarding our rankings and where they should be placed. So this time I'm going to share my screen. Finally, again, we have number one as to improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science content knowledge. To make it easier, please vote if you think that this should be our top priority. If we should keep this as our top priority. Ms. Kruger?
Well, I think, go ahead.
I agree. Absolutely. Because social studies and language arts go hand in hand. So if we improve in one, then the other should improve theoretically. Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. Based on the voting, that I think everybody kind of agreed with that one. Then, if you can read, if we can build reading proficiency or the reading capacity in our students, that means they can go to any test and they can perform because we've now removed the boundary. Their ability, they have now the ability to understand and comprehend. So I always think that should be, and like you say, social studies, you need reading for all of them. You know,
I
and
agree with that. I'm sorry. And I agree with that, and especially based off the SMART goals that we have established. Of course, we need to increase the numbers of students who are performing at the proficiency level in all content areas. So if we improve their student mastery, not only will allow us to meet our goals, but everything else that we're focused on, those things may fall in line, especially when it comes to the preparing them for college career life. So so I think that is important. So are we in agreement that we're gonna retain improved student mastery of reading as our first priority?
Well, I just want to make a note. I think I'm looking from a practical standpoint. I do agree about the that we do need to improve the student mastery in each and every one of those areas. But I also feel that if we utilize our resources, right, and we identify the root causes, and if we what was this other one? Utilize. There was something about training staff. I think that's what we just voted on. I think if you do, if you train the teachers, you retain, you recruit, develop, and retain highly talented faculty and staff, and there was one that's not listed here that was on the Google form about the training of the teachers.
Building teacher and leader capacity.
I see it now, number 5. You build teacher and leader capacity. I think those two will be a function of the improvement that we'll see in the student mastery. But I mean, if I think I just kind of feel like those should be at least in the top. Improving student mastery should be, especially. I mean, it's important. It's critical. But I think if we focus on the development and the training of the staff, I think that we'll see a result in the student mastery. That's just something to note. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, I'm in total agreement. So that note will be taken, especially when we continue our prioritizing, because again, we know we want to meet those goals and we know we want students to proficiency. So I think this will lead into the next one. So right now we have implement STEM program model as our second priority. Do we think that needs to remain second? Or could we adjust just off of, let's say what Dr. White stated, could we make adjustments regarding that second priority?
I mean, I think if we do those, if we build teacher and leader capacity and recruit and develop and retain highly talented, I think that's going to go hand in hand with improving student mastery. I'm not saying we should necessarily make those, I don't want to, throw stuff in the game in terms of, what the consensus is about number 1 and number 2. I'm just saying, how well we improve those areas is going to be a function of the level of training that teachers have. It's just something to think about.
Okay. Any other? So now, based off of what I'm seeing, Do we want to change our second priority to recruiting, developing, and retaining highly talented faculty and staff? Is that something, and I'm just going to chime in, if we don't have those individuals in the building to support the work that's needed, and we don't keep them, just like the growth in the work that we're doing now, then we will not sustain and grow as we want to. So it's almost to where, as Dr. White said, we have to have the right people in the right position to do the work that is needed. So if we look at that, implementing of STEM program model, if we don't have the right people in the building and we don't build their capacity, will we be able to even implement the STEM program model?
So with that being said, will we need that to be really number one then? Because if we recruit the right talent, that will support student mastery in all content areas as well.
I don't think it needs to be one simply because we still want to make sure that we're focused on the students because students are first. So that's why I put that one as number one. And then the other one is number two, because if that's still a top priority, but once we get them in, it'll be fine. Just don't think it trumps the students.
And I understand what both of you all are saying, because Murphy, it's almost like a cause and effect.
Right.
If, or if and then, if you recruit, develop, and retain your talented faculty and staff, then it will allow for the improvement of student mastery in these content areas. But I also see what Ms. Hall said, because our overall priority, in order for us to retain, develop, and retain talent, we have to have the students. So the students is the primary focus. So again, I initially, Mr. Murphy, and this was prior to, I even start to think about, okay, should we focus on recruiting, developing, and hiring? But then I changed that to number two, because our focus and our priorities still focus on meeting our goals. And our goals are for the student to be proficient or better or show mastery in these content areas. So we still have to put that main focus on our students being proficient or better. And so me personally, and again, this is just me, that's where I left the improved student mastery as number one, and then focused on the recruitment, developing, and retaining highly talented staff. And number three was building teacher and leader capacity.
Now, okay, so my question is this: so we have 9 priorities listed, right?
It's actually 7. If you can see, there was a mess up in numbering, so that other document actually had it listed correctly.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, so when we say include student mastery of those areas, is there any way we can combine, because I think if we can use the STEM programming to improve the mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science. So we can use STEM programming to do that. So could we say implement STEM programming to improve student mastery of reading? That way we're not throwing STEM out the window, but it's a priority. And then, and I know we may not have time to rewrite this, but I'm just making a suggestion. When we talk about recruiting, developing, and retaining highly talented faculty and staff, to me, that kind of goes hand in hand with building teacher and leader capacity. So if you combine those two, right, and then make those two then you got your 2 top priorities. That way we covering the bases. We covering all 4 bases.
Because honestly, the way the goals are written, the priorities are written, you really can't do one without the other. Like, for instance, I think we might have put you building community and parents or something like that as one of them. They kind of jumbled together. Inform and engage school, family, partners, and community members. That's number 9, right? That's a priority. But you really need a whole village to educate these students. So even with that at number 9, that's still a top priority, because you need the family support to push the goals of the school in the community.
Right.
it's like a lot of them are hand in hand.
Right. And you could inform and engage school families, partners, and community leaders so that you can implement goal setting, student ownership, growth mindset opportunities for all students.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, because we need to,
Move it along.
not even that, we need to make sure that everything is not combined together. So let's go to the first one. So what I'm hearing for the first one is looking at improving student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science content knowledge. Could we say utilizing the STEM program and add that to that? Or
We could do
utilizing
that.
STEM concepts and
Yeah.
what would like to, is that something that we would like to agree upon? So now, as it's stated, because especially when it comes to things such as PBLs, it's cross-curricular.
Yep.
So either way, it's going to enhance, whether it's the content or the skills that are needed, it will enhance all aspects and all content areas.
And then also too, if we're looking at making students lifelong learners and preparing them for future global success, like in Georgia right now, by 2028 in Georgia, there'll be 95,000 STEM jobs added, 95,000 manufacturing jobs. So if we want our students to go out and compete in this global market, what is the market? What jobs are going to be driving this market? And these jobs are going to be inclusive of all of the content areas.
Okay, so if we do that with the content knowledge, are we gonna say you with STEM, how would we write that? Are we gonna say using STEM?
The STEM program model to improve the mastery.
Are infusing.
Infusing, okay, or implement, okay.
Yeah.
Improving student mastery in reading, language arts, math, science, and social studies content knowledge, utilizing the STEM program model.
That's kind of what they do at that school in Gwinnett County. I gotta.
Yeah, they do.
So are we gonna change the whole school based on, like, I know we're in the process of moving over, we're already certified in one area, but now are we really gonna go gung-ho with STEAM across the board if we add that and make that a top priority?
And that's what I'm looking at, because that would then.
That does infer that.
Meaning that and I mean, that's actually what's expected as a signature program school, that when you walk the halls, you see that those elements in classrooms. Is it the end all be all? No, but you should see some elements of STEM or STEAM, project-based learning, problem-based learning, higher order questioning, collaborative groups, use of technology. You should see all those things in a classroom that's high functioning as you walk through the school.
So how about we say improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science content knowledge in conjunction with the STEM program model?
It works.
Are we in agreement?
Yeah, because I think
first priority would be to improve student mastery of reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science content knowledge in conjunction with the STEM program model. Okay, great. Next, are we going to stick with the recruitment, developing, and retaining as the second one, and then building teacher and leader capacity? And I know that it was stated that they go hand in hand, but sometimes, and this is just me personally, because some individuals, you can recruit them, you can develop them, you retain them, and they remain as they were. So whereas if you recruit, develop, and retain individuals, because especially now in education, you have to incentivize and do things of that nature, but then building capacity, and that looks into me, the lens is a little different, because you have to make sure that professional development is provided. You're looking at their individualized needs to build their capacity. So
right.
We want to focus on that second priority being recruiting, developing, and retaining staff members, but then prioritizing building the capacity of those individuals to ensure that the knowledge and whatever skills are there
Mhm.
and enhanced.
So maybe like number 5, where it says building teacher and leader capacity. Maybe we could add, build teacher and leader capacity through professional development opportunities.
That'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Through ongoing professional development opportunities.
Ongoing
Yep.
right? Exactly.
Okay, so I'm looking at right now, and Ms. Kruger, are you getting this down? So right now, I'm looking at improving student mastery in conjunction with STEM as number 1. Number 2, recruiting, developing, and retaining talented faculty and staff. Number 3, build teacher and leader capacity through ongoing professional learning opportunities.
And not to change anything, but just to add, I think too, a lot of times, you can have people on a team and you do have to observe like people's skill set or what makes them valuable, or like what they can do really good, because sometimes people can be in a position but necessarily might be misused because they're really good at this, but then that skill set is never used. Like I talk to kids, I'm like, well, when I was teaching high school, kid could draw really well, but he never took art. So it's kind of like they can have a great skill, but it never gets enhanced. And so I think one thing is like, making sure that teachers are in positions, or staff or leadership in positions where their skill sets can really shine, because you can take their skill set and put them somewhere else and they flourish, or you can change them up and put them in another position and they don't flourish at all. So just enhancing a person's natural skill set or developing their skill set is a great thing that they're investing in.
You mean like teachers, like personal interests that they bring into the class to help them
Yeah,
develop their
like you can
skills?
have a teacher that's really great at planning events, and we be trying to plan, you know what I'm saying? And like they
Okay.
never ever get to do it, but they would thrive at it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so right now, and I'm in agreement with that, Mr. Murphy. So right now we are at priority number 3. We've determined that will be build teacher and leader capacity. Let's look at the 4th priority. We have left prepare all students for college, career, and life, implementing goal setting, utilizing systems and resources, and inform and engage school, families, partners, and community.
But if we are recruiting, developing, and retaining through building ongoing professional development, wouldn't that go with the one about the utilizing resources?
This more so is utilizing systems and resources to identify root causes of barriers that our students have, socially and academically.
Okay.
And me personally, I was looking at that for number 4, only because if we don't address the barriers that are present, we would never get them to certain things. So we want to improve, but we have to make sure we have the right people who have that capacity. But at the same time, we have to address the barriers academically and socially, and we have to identify those root causes.
And I'm in agreement with that. This morning on the way to work, I was listening to a radio program, and it's some type of thing called a QBD or something that they go by that measures students. And they were saying that 1 out of 5 students has some type of mental challenge, and then mental health challenge, and then 1 out of 5 students deal with food insecurity. And so we can meet some of those goals where we can reduce that number in our community, where it's not 1 out of it's not 1 out of 5, it's 1 out of 10, or it's not 1 out of 5 at all. We can help a lot of our students meeting them, because just talking with teachers, and when you talking with students, when you find out the things that they go through, they're not able to learn a lot of times because they still dealing with coming from home or lack thereof. So yeah, yeah.
And if I can reflect on my own experience, coming into a relationship with Crawford Long, as well as the other 2 schools in the area, that's in this area, that was some of the most revealing when it came time to address root causes and understand what the issues are in the community. Those things came to light through those conversations. And so when we talk about informing and engaging school families, partners, and community members, when you have that engagement, that is an opportunity to understand some of the to identify and address the root causes that are hindering social and academic growth. So I'm saying all that to say that 8 and 9, wait, what's that? 6 and what? You know the two I'm talking about. Those last two on the bottom. Those are, to me, those are the best opportunities because staff, you guys see what you see, the kids that come into the school. You see, you know what you're seeing every day. You know, I mean, you know things about the parents, you know, but the reason why you know that is because you observe it, but you also talking to other community members. You're also engaging partners and school families. So those two on the bottom, those two kind of go hand in hand.
And that's what I was writing right now. I was wanting to say, did we want to make number 4? Utilize systems and resources that identify and address root causes to promote social and academic growth,
Yep.
to inform and engage school families, partners, and community members.
Right.
Yep, that works.
And then once you do that, then you can implement goal setting and student ownership and growth mindset and opportunities for all students.
Because they were saying that you have to have a whole child format when you deal in education now to help the student.
And see, once we do all that, I think that's going to all be a function of any improvement that we see in student mastery and in all of those content areas that you have.
Like a trickle down effect. Everything goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay, so for number 4, we're combining 8 and 9. Are we going to have number 5 as implementing the goal setting, student ownership, growth mindset, opportunities for all students?
Yes, I'm fine with that. Because they got to start looking at their future outlook,
And number
whether short term or long term.
prepare for college, career, and life.
Yep.
That's going to be the output.
Yep.
See, I like the way we have the strategic priorities, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe we need to set it up as a what do they call that? Logic model. So once we establish the strategic priorities, because they're so interconnected until we really could kind of set this up as a logic model. Like when we do 1, when we do 2, when we do 3, the outcome, inputs, outputs type situation. And that way it makes it more, it makes the priorities visually, a person can look at it and visually see.
You can see the connection. You can see, like you said, the if and the then, how they align with each other.
Exactly. So we develop a logic model from these priorities, then I think that would, articulate it better.
Okay.
Can we repeat number 5? Just as I have implementing goal setting, student ownership, growth mindset, opportunities for all students as number 5.
And number 6 would be prepare all students for college, career, and life. Do you have access to the presentation? Okay, so this time I'm going to stop sharing. And Ms. Kruger, are you going to share your screen so we can go ahead and show the rankings?
Yes.
So right now, if you look on the screen, you see the new rankings of our strategic priorities in front of you. Everybody, please take a minute and review. because we will have to vote on our priority rankings. Now, at this time, the GO team needs to take action on its ranked strategic plan priorities. After the motion and a second, the GO team may have additional discussion. When we've had a very thorough discussion, once the discussion is concluded, the GO team will vote.
All right, has everyone had a chance to look at the new priorities and rankings? If you have, I will call for a motion to approve the new rankings and priorities as read. Do I have a motion from the floor?
I motion to
Yeah.
approve it.
Do I have a second? Okay. All in favor, say aye. The secretary will record your vote. Aye.
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 Those not in favor, say nay. Any abstentions, please say abstain. Okay, motion carries. Secretary records your vote. Hold on one second.
Ms. Kruger, please make sure you send those updated rankings to me so I could update our strategic plan. So if you could just email me those tonight, that would be great. Okay, Mr. Murphy, I'm going to stop sharing so you can continue.
Okay, now that the motion is carried, we will move on to the next order of business. We've done the ranking and strategic plan. Now we've moved on to additional items pertinent to to the community. At this time, well, yeah, go ahead. Any additional items pertinent to the community? I will say, can we vote to make all additional items no more than 1 minute in time? Who just did?
Yeah.
Okay. Any nays? Okay, great. Yeah, because my son has a game at 7:30. All right. All right. Any additional items? Are there any announcements?
I just would like to say, like always, I just want to celebrate the work that's being done. We have seen some increases and we're growing and we're continuing to grow. Anything that's done, there's a work in progress. And I just like to say thank you to the staff of Long Middle School and the students in the Long community for allowing this work in progress to be done. We're far from where we want to be, but we're going in the direction that we need to be. So just thank you and keep up the work. We know that we have to be innovative and creative to intervene with the gaps that our students have. But the leadership team, we've come together. We have a plan that we're going to put out there to attack those needs, and we're going to be reaching our goal. So again, just thank you to the staff for the work they're doing and will continue to do.
Yeah, I will say that too. Thank you, Principal Cool. The Caring for Others has been a great partner with the school. And just seeing those students and staff and faculty community get blessed by that connection that was made through you, as well as the food bank that comes once a month as well. It's things like that that can really galvanize the community. And those are the things that need, when we talk about school shout outs and stuff, those are things that need to be shouted out with media and things such as that, because it's about the whole student, not just the academics at times. We have to have balance in all those things and sometimes be all those things for the students in our community and other communities. And I think that those are the things that data does not see that have a huge impact on our students' futures in our community. And that's what the data doesn't tell you about. And so I just want to say thank you for that. And I think Crawford Learner's doing a great job in all areas. We all have areas to grow in, but I think overall we have a great product, and I think we deliver a great product at this school.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
I just want to give a update. If you've taken a look at the grounds, the grounds around the school. You notice that I don't know what department it was, but they finally came through and did the work that needed to be done. It did put us behind schedule, but I think we're able to catch up. We are also in the process of developing the garden, so we are expanding from 7 to 10 beds. We're gonna grow. We're gonna start growing indoors first. The goal is to have enough. At least we want to try to do about 1,000 pounds of food for our farmers market is scheduled for May 25th, right, Mr. Murphy?
May 23rd, I believe.
May 3rd. Well, okay,
May
May
23rd.
whatever
May
it is.
23rd.
We want to make sure, and and so just keep looking. You know,
23rd, yep.
things are coming down. They came and bought the soil for us today, and we're going to engage the after school all stars in a program. I just got word from the UGA extension. We do have a master gardener that's going to come and assist the after school all stars and lead them in the development of the garden. So you know, things are looking up. We also part two of that, because I know I got about 15 more seconds in my
Yep.
We're gonna be coming around to the teachers, Miss Kruver, Miss Hall. We're gonna be coming to see what y'all been doing with y'all's PBLs, because remember last year we did the awareness project. So this year we're gonna be adding to our website, right? And
Yeah,
so
we
we're
ready for you.
excited.
We got everything. We've been out there playing in the dirt. We ready.
Okay.
Yeah, because they was out there after
Yeah,
school all
I got
stars. She
my
said,
white
"Oh,
shoes dirty. We sure was.
it's called
okay.
sacrifice. Called sacrifice. You got another pair a month later."
That right. she had a backup pair. What you talking about, Mr. Murphy?
Miss Hall, big money. She had another pair by the time she got home.
Oh,
Okay.
that right.
Waiting on her.
Had it on order, right?
Uh-huh.
It's been a joy. I enjoy working with y'all. Thank y'all so much for the opportunity to be a part of this, and I'm honored and just I've just grown so much since developing this relationship. So thank you very much. Thank you, Miss Mccall, for the work you're doing, and Mr. Murphy and Miss Kruver and Miss Hall. Shout outs to all y'all. Y'all rock.
Thank you.
You rock. Thank you. Until I saw that Frederick Douglass High School shirt on. Now,
225 for life, baby.
Represent.
alumni, and you have a Douglas, and then McCall shaking her head with Washington High.
Represent.
Anything else?
All right. So
I just have one other announcement, just to make real quick, right? I know it's 10 seconds. The Go Team meeting that was supposed to be next week on the 16th has been rescheduled to the 23rd. You will get that notification, just so you know. But I did want to go ahead and verbally make that meeting notice information known.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. All right. So at this time, we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time?
They won't.
All right. So at this time, may I have a motion from the floor to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All right. The motion carries. Oh, well, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? None.
Nay.
Abstentions?
I was just
said
don't take that song. I was just
All right. At this time, the motion carries. The meeting has been adjourned at 6:59 p.m. And you all get safe, because it's supposed to get messy out there tomorrow morning.
y'all be safe. Thank you. I'll have a great
Y'all
evening.
next week.
Bye-bye.
you.
See y'all Monday.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.